welcome to the Discourse Dive. I'm your host, Christina Nikitas. Thank you for being with us. You're watching a recorded broadcast, so you're invited to email me anytime at dive@bcat.org. That's DIVE at BCATTV.org. I'd be delighted to hear from you should you have any further questions for our guest, or if you're inclined to offer comments and or suggestions for future topics or guests of interest. Today we're about to meet Daniel, the new programming and marketing librarian at our local library. But before we get started, I wanted to thank all the amazingly talented, kind, and generous staff here at BCAT, Burlington Cable Access TV, for their help in this production. So that includes staff, volunteers, and BCAT alums. I couldn't do it without you, so a very special thank you to each of you, including those aboard today. We have staff members Chris Flaherty, John Villas, Jen Dodge, and we have our crew, James Hurley, Ferris Connolly, and Bill Hayes. All right, so today and future episodes, together we'll be diving into topics I hope you'll find of interest. My hope is the shows will be of value to you and your family in learning something new, gaining a new perspective, or a new appreciation for something, and for some fun. During the show, you'll find at the bottom of the screen my guest contact information, and again at the end of the show, in case you may have missed it. So it's time to settle in, grab your coffee or tea. I'd like to introduce you to my guest, Daniel Barbour, the Programming and Marketing Librarian at the Burlington Public Library. Daniel, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So happy to have you. You're taking time out from a very busy day for us, so I'm very indebted to you for that.
No, happy to be here. Thank you.
So tell us, let's start off where
Sure.
we usually do, right?
Sure.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Surely.
Whatever you like, your
Sure.
background.
Yeah,
whatever.
sure. So as you mentioned, my name is Daniel Barbour. I just joined the library in July as the first Programming and Marketing Librarian. I was so excited. I've been working in libraries since I was very young, a teenager, as a page in the library where I shelved books. And I always told people, I don't want to do this forever. This is a great job as a 15-year-old, as a 16-year-old, as a 17, 18, 19-year-old. And then I got to college and I got a supervisory position in a library, and I loved it. And then I said, no, but I went to school for communications. So I said, I'm going to work in a news studio, not unlike this. I said, I am going to work in a news studio. That was my goal. And then I graduated, and one thing led to another, and I said, you know what, I miss libraries, and that's where I started.
Really? Yeah. Can you tell us a bit about marketing communications and?
Sure.
So you studied in Florida.
Yes. So I went to Southeastern University,
okay.
and I have a degree in broadcasting, and I did a focus with marketing, and I also have a religion minor, a little bit all over the place, and I have a lot of interests, but I love the entertainment industry in general. And a big part of that is graphic design and marketing that, because your work is only as good as what people know it to be, and marketing is important to showcase whatever it may be that you're trying to showcase. Right. And as a lifelong library user, it seemed like a really interesting fusion, this current position, because it took something I've loved since I was a teenager and turned it into something that blended my other passions of, being able to promote really good work through graphic design and marketing tools, because the team at Burlington Library, they are phenomenal. I've worked with a lot of people, and the team there has so many great ideas, and I want that to be amplified.
Very interesting. So about when in your career did graphic design come in? And were you trained in graphic design? And
so yes and no. So it didn't start out as something that was a focus of mine. I just liked it. When I was young, I was asked at the age of 16 to start making posters by the library director. I was in a smaller town, and the director was very much like, you can kind of do what you're interested in, and they were putting up signs that were so boring. And I was like, oh, I hate to see it. You're offering this great event, but you're literally using the most basic fonts, no graphics. or too many graphics. And I said, can I try making a sign? And they're like, oh, we'd love it if you did. We'd love it if you did. And so I started making signs at 16 years old. And I just really enjoyed it. And that kind of one thing led to another, and I started self-teaching, did a lot of self-teaching. I self-taught myself a lot of Adobe. I mean, if anyone knows the Adobe Creative Cloud, you know that you can't learn it all. But I started just teaching myself that product, and it's a very old version of that. And I just had a lot of fun with it. And I kept making mistakes and learning from those mistakes, looking up like YouTube videos on, wait, I really want to make this happen. I'd have an idea in my head, and I'd want to put it on the page, but I'd have no idea how to do that. And I just try to find out ways to make those things happen. So what I did was, when I was working in a previous position, I asked them, they had a continuing education opportunity, and they said, like, what would you like to do? And I said, I'd like to go for a graphic design certificate. So I went for that and got it in Adobe Illustrator. And it helped learn some basic principles that I still use today.
Fantastic. Yeah, I love your work. Later in the broadcast, we're going to show
nice.
one of your pieces, one of your branding. I think it's a book club, the
Yes,
Night Owl
yeah,
book
the book
club and
club,
stuff. So we'll have a look at that. Let's see. So when you returned to New England after your college years, you started worked for quite a number of years, I think, in a library in Central Mass.
Yes.
And what was your position there?
Sure.
Tell us what you enjoyed and gleaned from that particular experience.
So right out of college, I got a job working at the Shrewsbury Public Library. I love the Shrewsbury Public Library to this day. If anyone from this area has been there, it's a beautiful library. I started out as their computer librarian. I did all the tech. And I did that for about 6 months and absolutely hated it. Absolutely hated it. But I love the library and I love the people. I just hated my job. And so we had a sudden staff exit. Someone got a really great promotion elsewhere and no one kind of saw it coming. And the job looked really cool, but I didn't have the traditional training for it. So I didn't even apply. And the library went through their big process and they didn't like any of their candidates. And I was on my way to a meeting with the director, and I just said, I can't believe you can't find someone for this position. It looks like so much fun. And she was like, why didn't you apply for it? And I said, I don't have the traditional background, and I'm still on probation for the job I don't like. I didn't tell her I didn't like it, but and she said, she's like, well, what if your experience would make up for what you didn't have in the educational requirement? And I said, then I'd love to be considered. And she's like, send me a letter. And the next day I had a job offer and I got the job of young adult librarian. So I worked with grades 5 through 12 and I did that for 11 years and absolutely loved it. And I was in charge of 100% of the marketing and the graphic design for all of the teen programs. And so that really gave me a foundation for my experience.
I love it in life when you have these breaks that you just, never expect.
Exactly.
What a great story.
It was fun.
I love that. I really love that. So after your stint there was like 11 years.
I was there for 11 years, in that position,
After that, you had more library positions. What were those positions, and what did you take, and glean from those positions?
So after 11 years, I was starting to host the 10th annual and the 11th annual of certain events for the teens. And I said, you know what, I love this, but I don't want my only job out of college to be something I got when I was 23. And so I just started looking around, and I found a position that really interested me, and it was a supervisory position. So it made sense on paper too. It's like, you have a little growth here.
Absolutely.
And it was that of circulation supervisor at a nearby library. And so I went and got that position. Okay. It was interesting because in every library, and I'm sure this is in every industry, the same job title can mean very different things in different libraries.
Really?
So what you see one person doing in one library with one title could be completely different at another. And I remember I got that job and I was the word isn't bored. I always find a way to motivate myself, but the basic requirements weren't as exciting as I was expecting them to be. Okay. So even though I was getting paid a little more and I had more responsibility, the job was actually less motivating until I made it more motivating through different projects. Right. But I really had to work to make it happen. And I was getting there, and then this little thing called the pandemic hit. And that kind of changed everything. Yeah. And so I found a library that was much busier. The Concord Library they have the 6th busiest circulating collection in the state. And they had the same position, the circulation supervisor position. I said, you know what, that would probably keep me busier. And I went for it, and I got it. And I was really surprised. I was excited to get it. But then as I grew into that position, again, loving the people, I realized that position lacked a couple of things I really loved. And one of them was programming. Love doing programming. And some circulation supervisors and some libraries do a lot of programming, and they do a lot of outreach work, and they do a lot of interacting with the community.
Smaller libraries, right?
Not always, even.
Really?
What happens is like different libraries have different tasks they need done by different people. Okay. And that job for me was a wonderful position, just not wonderful for me. And I was like, what else is there? And I liked the people I worked with, and I was like, I'll just wait for the right opportunity. And I know I love programming, and I know I love marketing. So if I can find a job that has one of those two things, I'll go for it. And then one day I saw this posting at the Burlington Public Library that wasn't just one of them, it was both, programming and marketing.
Oh my goodness.
And it was so exciting because across the country, you see so many positions that get fused together, like reference in young adults, or assistant director in programming, or marketing and what have you. But I loved that Burlington chose very wisely to put them together because they are so related.
So they're really
because if your programming doesn't have good marketing,
exactly,
it's
a
waste of a lot of resources.
Exactly, that is really fascinating. So, when traditionally I would hear the word marketing, I would always think of businesses and corporations. I had never seen it in a context of a library before.
Okay, interesting.
Before you
yes,
this summer.
yes.
I'm like, wow, that's really amazing. So when did this concept of marketing titles come into the library, pardon me, the library sphere?
Sure, so I'm not exactly sure a date or time or a trend that started for it, but if you think about it, no matter what job you have, you're marketing yourself. You are marketing every day when you go to work. You have to justify why you're there. You have to do a job, do it well. And you have to market yourself. You have to market your skills. You have to market your resources. Sometimes it might be a sales position. Sometimes it might be nonprofit. But whatever it is, you are marketing. And libraries that don't have the proper marketing will find that their community resources aren't getting utilized as well as they could with someone who markets. So there are a lot of people, I don't know of a single library that doesn't have someone who marketing is their responsibility. And in some of them it's the title, and others they're compensated under a different title, but that's under there as well. So it might be the assistant director has to do the marketing, or it might be the director does the marketing. It could be the teen librarian does the marketing, but someone has to have that if the library is working effectively, especially with town resources.
Right. So, we'll leave the programming for the second part, but tell us a little bit more about your marketing. I know you teach Canva, is that right?
So yes and no. I've taught that for the staff. So one of the exciting things is when I started there, a lot of people were doing a really good job, and there were just a few little tidbits that I've learned through my Adobe days that Canva, you can still use some of the same principles. I'm a big less is more person. I'm a big make sure you limit the number of fonts you use on one page. Make sure you limit the number of lines of text on one page. Make sure your graphics are clear. I personally gravitate towards real people instead of clip art. I just love, when possible, to feature humans because people respond to that better. There have been studies that have shown that. And it's something that I've thought, if I did a little Canva class for the staff, people who are designing their flyers for their events will have some kind of my tidbits to share, because that's my job. I'm here, I'm looking out for marketing. My primary responsibility is adult programs and adult marketing, but people in youth services, we're on the same team, and I want to help everybody with the experience that I bring to the table.
Right. Fascinating. So the other aspect of your marketing position is digital programming. So that's these wonderful collaborations with other libraries, and I think I did every single one during the pandemic.
Nice. Yes.
Tell us about that, and what does the marketing entail for?
Sure. So we offer a variety of programs in different formats, and I think you're speaking about some of the ones that one library, it could be any library, it could be someone in New Hampshire for that matter, will say, hey, I got this really amazing person to talk to me, but they're expensive. Who wants to go in on it? And the more people that we can go in on it, we can split the cost and make things more affordable. and then we can do it online because they don't have to drive to one place. They're doing it from home, so they'll offer a better rate normally,
Right.
and we can all just kind of split the bill on it. And that's intelligent. It's like, it makes it collaborative, and it makes it exciting and opens up some more opportunities. Those programs, there is a double-edged sword to it though, because you get the opportunity during the lockdown and during the pandemic when it was really at its height.
Right.
We needed things like that because we didn't have alternatives.
Yeah.
But if there's one thing that I've learned, and I will talk about in a little bit, is people are craving the in-person programs. So those types of programs are declining in demand rapidly. However, there are still bright spots. We had Marie Benedict, the New York Times bestselling author, recently. Her presentation was wonderful, and she didn't allow it to be recorded. So it's like, if you didn't go to that, there was a real benefit to going to it. A lot of digital programs now, though, there are things you could just Google, look up on Google or YouTube and find the content. You don't really need us for it. But during the pandemic, you did, because people were just looking to attend anything with other people digitally. But now people are very clear about wanting more in-person programs.
Okay. I remember the A.J. Pierce interview.
A.J. Pierce was wonderful. A.J. Pierce, she stayed up until 11 p.m. because she was over in England, and she did a wonderful talk with us, an interview back and forth, and that one's on our YouTube channel. She allowed us to record it, and she's just a lovely person. If you go on Facebook and just look A.J. Pierce up, she has a page you can follow, and she just has the most delightful updates. She's so kind. She was as kind as she appears online.
It seems so.
Yes.
She was just, it was lovely,
Yes,
really
yeah.
lovely. So social media, that
Yes.
is one that I know you came to the Friends and expounded on how important that is.
Yes.
Tell us about that and what that entails.
Sure. So the Burlington Library primarily uses 2 social media tools, but there's so many things that can be considered social media as well. So the primary ones, we use Facebook and Instagram. Facebook is our biggest audience for the demographics that we're reaching. We also utilize a constant contact for a weekly email update, which is very important. And we also update our website frequently. But I would say it's Facebook and Instagram are the top 2 in terms of social media tools that we utilize. And I'd invite everybody to follow those and like our posts. We always get excited about that. But one of the fun things when I started, I noticed there were a lot of posts about great events, which is important. But there wasn't a lot about like who are making these events happen. Like where are the components? Like where are the people? And so if you noticed in the summertime, I really just started trying to feature people, because we can be excited, but we can find an event information on a calendar, but we can't find who's running that event. How are they putting it together? Much similar to your dives, we want to find out who's behind the scenes at the library and really feature them. There are all-stars that work at the Burlington Public Library that you probably have never seen before because they work behind the scenes. That's their job. But if they weren't at the library, we would not have items that are processed correctly. We would not have as many amazing new things coming in. We wouldn't have the research into such a great collection that we do have. And I worry that sometimes those people get overlooked, and they shouldn't, because they are the backbone of what we're doing over there.
Well, we'll have to talk more about that and get them in here,
yes,
right?
Exactly.
To chat with us. So I recall when you chatted with the Friends, you were talking about all the metrics with Facebook, and that literally, it was an education, Daniel.
Well, it's interesting. The metrics are confusing.
I had no idea.
Yeah, it's not something, you will not find a guest to walk in here who can tell you exactly how Facebook or Instagram structures their algorithms. Those are well hidden secrets. But there is some research that if you do some introductory digging into social media and algorithms, is you can find that there are certain principles you can follow that give you a little bit of a leg up in getting your word out. There's no magic wand, but there's times that more of your people are online than others. So if you post things at those times, you might get seen a little bit more. You can try to feature your people versus stock, like clip art. So while we still use clip art's wonderful. It has a place, and you should limit it. Like if you have an alternative and you can put a person in the picture doing something, like if I'm advertising a craft program, I'd love to see a picture of one of our staff members prepping it and advertise the program that way, versus just showing the finished product. We'll do both. There's nothing wrong with doing both, but when you can, it's nice to feature the person.
Yeah. So there are times of day to post things?
Yes. So your crowd. Facebook will suggest
You're a
like,
wealth.
well, it's actually Facebook and Meta, they will show you like when your crowd is active more often than not.
Oh.
That said, I take everything I see through those services with a grain of salt. They tell us that the night is the busiest time for our people, but I still post every morning, and those posts often perform better. So you never know, with those metrics. But again, you know, it's you can pay to have things boosted, and I haven't done that because I don't think that's the best use of the funds that I'm working with. But you know, there might be a big event where we say, you know what, maybe we throw a little bit behind that because we want to make sure as many people hear about it as possible.
Paying for a boost. That is just incredible.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, there's so many newspapers used to be in business, and they used to count on those ad dollars, and it's just kind of the same thing. Just this time, it's a big evil corporation doing it instead of a nice small town reporter.
I see. Oh my goodness. So, are there portions of social media that you like to develop more in the future, or you pretty much want to stick with Facebook and Instagram?
No, I would love to work a little bit more to build up our YouTube channel. I'm not aspiring for Burlington Public Library to be the next big book influencer, but when we have really good programs, I'd love to partner with people like BCAT and get some of them covered a little bit more, because sometimes I will go to a program and facilitate a program, and I'll be like, it's such a shame that this has to end after tonight and people can't see what just happened. We've had some wonderful events that were one night only, and it'd be great if we could put more of those up online. And so I think that would be a place that we could work to develop.
Exciting, very exciting. The newsletter.
Yes.
You and your expertise, you sort of rebranded this and it turned into something different. Tell us about what that process was.
Sure. So building on some of the people who worked at the library that don't work there anymore, I guess before I started, there was a newsletter. And then the staff member left, as it happens in a lot of places, and the newsletter stopped. And I saw that as a really big place for opportunity. What was happening when I started is anytime an individual staff member had an event, they just sent an email out about that singular event. And what happens with that is sometimes that's beneficial, because if you were looking for that event and you see that subject line come up in your inbox, that gets you excited and you click it and you read it, and it's still effective. It's not the worst tool. But if you're like me, every day you get a bunch of emails and you don't have time to read them all. You don't have time to go through the third-party sites and read everything that they have to say. You tend to miss a lot of them. So I put together a weekly e-newsletter. So you only get bothered by us once a week.
Not a bother.
Right, typically Thursdays. But I mean, even when things are good, they can still be like, I don't have time for a 5th email from your library this week. So for adult events and big community events, you only get updates once a week. Now, parents have said they want a lot more, so youth services do send out a lot of emails. So if you see our email, our weekly update for adult events come out, and then you get 3 other emails that week, and you're like, I thought you said it was only one. It's only one from the adult list.
Oh, I see.
But if you signed up for the children's list, they like to give you breaking news, and that's effective for the parents. Parents are asking for that. Adults are asking for less. So we've seen that the click rates have gone way up since we've done that, because more people are reading the weekly versus the, every time one happens.
Yeah. I don't have children, but I read the youth services one all the time. It's just so fun.
They're doing so many great events.
Amazing programs.
The team there is, and that's the thing, my job is programming and marketing, but I don't do all the programming. It's an amazing team of programmers over there within youth services and within adult services. People are doing so many amazing things. The word needs to get out.
Very cool.
And you can join that e-newsletter by going to our website. It's right on the homepage for newsletter, and just sign up for it. And I'd encourage people to do that, and then you'll start getting the Thursday updates.
Fantastic. So the other portion of the marketing is branding. So this is really exciting.
Yes. So long term. So I started in July, so I haven't even been there 6 months yet, but I have a set of goals. I think it's important for us all to have goals in our positions. And one of my longer goals is to work on developing a style guide for the library. And that comes down to branding. And it could even incorporate people like the trustees and the friends. And I want people anywhere who are like, if say you're around town and there's a bulletin board and we've gotten the word out and someone posted our flyer up there, in time, and it takes a lot of time, I'd love for someone just walking by to be like, oh, that's a library event. I can just tell. It just has that feel.
Yeah.
And a style guide helps dictate the types of fonts, the types of colors, the sizing, the layouts of your marketing tools to help start to develop that familiarity. Just like you might recognize a Coke or Pepsi can with walking by and it's in your peripheral vision, you know it's there.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying we'll be as big as them, but in Burlington, I want us to be very recognizable, and I
That's
think a style guide will help with that.
That's very exciting. In fact, we have a piece
Oh, yes.
today
Yes.
that we're going to have a look at on the monitor.
Oh, great. Yeah, this is our Night Owls book club.
If we can bring that
Yes.
up.
So yes, so as you can see, this is, again, we're far away from a formal style guide, but one of the first things I said when I started looking at some of the amazing signs that were already being made was that the dates and the times are all over the signs. You can't find them easily. So I said, what if we drop that to the bottom? Let's make a standard, 1.5 to 2 inches at the bottom where we put the clearly put the day of the week, the date, and the time. And then we put whether or not you have to register or not. If you do have to register, there'll be a QR code so you can snap it quickly. And if it's just a drop-in, there isn't a QR code. And then I want as little information about the event as possible, which might sound counterintuitive, but if you put tons of text, people are going to ignore it. So I just wrote just a couple lines. Actually, I think it's like even one sentence for this one. And it said basically what you need to know. It's a book club. You don't need to register. Just come by, read the book, and we'll do the rest. And some events can't be told as simply as that, but I'd like us to think about when we're marketing our library events, and I think anyone can take these principles. I didn't create them. These are things I've learned, is that less is more. You've heard that a million times. And if you communicate something very clearly and effectively, more people are bound to catch it and read it as they're walking by. But if you fill that page with tons and tons of text and tons of fonts, and it's just so busy, people might just ignore it. And that's a shame because you probably have a great event behind it.
Right, yeah. I love the colors there. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
Thanks. So we're getting to the programming.
Yes,
Let's hear about it. So recently you did 2 surveys.
Mm-hmm.
Was it one like a month ago and
Well,
one last week?
Actually,
or?
one survey we did a little while back. It was on a specific type of programming, our board gaming. But then last week we sent out a general adult programming survey. And this is breaking news because I have some of the preliminary results. We had over 100 responses, which I was shocked as they were coming in so fast. One thing I've learned about Burlington specifically is they love surveys. So thank you, Burlington. I love survey responders because that helps me do my job even better because I can hear from a lot of people very quickly. I don't know, have you seen Family Feud?
Yes.
Do you have any guesses as to what subject matter Burlington wants adult programs on the most?
I have a lot of friends in town that love crafts.
Crafts. Crafts was number 2 on the list.
What would be number 1? Music?
Music's not a bad guess, but number 1 was cooking.
Really?
Burlington is basically, through this survey, shouting, bring cooking programs to the library.
Oh my goodness.
And I don't have anything directly planned yet, but with that kind of information, that helps me, and I can start preparing that and working with groups like the Friends to try to find some programming to bring into the library on cooking demos. I've already have some leads on it, and as soon as I saw this starting to develop, I was like, oh, we need to figure this out. There's something that's similar to a cooking program coming up, but not directly. So I'm hoping we can have some really amazing cooking demos for people and cooking classes. That's one of the things that this survey really helped kind of focus in on. But the second thing was crafting, and starting this month, we're launching a Maker Meetup series for adults. It's a monthly crafting club where you register from month to month based on your availability and the space in the program, and you learn how to make something new. And the principle is twofold. One, just to have fun. You don't have to be a skilled crafter. Burlington has amazing crafting resources, but I don't want people to feel like I don't have that background, I shouldn't go. If you know nothing about crafting, you should still go if it sounds fun to you.
Okay.
It's going to be a welcoming environment. That's the great thing about trying something at the library. You try something at the library, and you can decide, do I want to be into this in the future? Do I want to be frustrated by this continually, or do I love this? Maybe you're a natural at something you didn't expect to be. And the library, you can try it for free. And then the town has other great resources on developing your skill sets, like through Parks and Rec. You can, like, if you loved a program that we're doing here, see if Parks and Rec has a formal course with a formal instructor that you can go in and try something there where you can develop those skills better. So we're kind of like a nice little introductory thing for that. So we're volleying from craft to craft. There will not be 2 months in a row that are similar. We have some really exciting people coming that are on tap. Some of them are staff-led, and some of them are crafters in the area who are coming in to do workshops. And if you're a crafter in the area who'd like to do a workshop, please email me, because I want to get this booked up through the whole year.
So
it's going to
much
be
fun.
every month indefinitely, so we're going to work on that and continue that.
So what do you have for the next month's plan? In January, who's coming?
So in January we have, okay, this is a good example. I can segue. So from our questions, one of the questions on our survey was, what are your ideas? And somebody wrote, and I'm not sure who wrote it, it was an anonymous survey, but someone wrote, I get jealous by all the awesome kids programs that I can't attend as an adult.
Oh.
So what we did for January is we took one of the most popular teen programs, crafting programs, a pour paint program, and we're going to do that for adults. We're going to up the difficulty a little bit, but it'll still be accessible to anyone. And adults can come and learn how to do these gorgeous, almost, it's not as quite as elaborate as a Pollock, but that kind of principle where you're splashing paint down, making a beautiful canvas. Shelley, I believe, is going to be the one leading that program. Shelley is incredible. She has a lot of crafty skills, and she will really make the people who attend feel so welcome. Oh, and one thing I want to mention too is another feedback we get from people all the time is, I love the programs you are offering, but I can't attend because I work, and you're holding it during the day. Right. Or, I don't want to drive at night. So what we've been trying to do is build our programs to be as flexible as possible when we can. We can't always, naturally, but for this crafting maker meetup series, we're offering it in the afternoon, during daylight, and then in the evening. Oh, identical sessions on the days where we're holding it.
Excuse me. Fantastic.
Yeah, so we're very
excited. So what are the other months, February, March?
So I don't have all of the information going too far out yet, but we are having a crafter come and do some kind of felting project, making a little penguin. That's adorable. There's no one on this earth who will see this penguin and say, I don't want to go to that program. I anticipate that one's going to fill out really fast. It's this company called the Felted Bee, and they're very well known within the library world for doing amazing workshops. We do a lot of research into the people that we're bringing in to make sure that we're giving some really quality instruction to our patrons, and it's adorable. Just Google the Felted Bee and look up the little penguin. Bee. Oh, you're gonna love it. So, yeah.
Oh my goodness, that sounds cute. So music.
So music. This is early development, but we're hoping to have a musical March.
Breaking news.
Yeah, breaking news. I was hoping I'd have more breaking news about the music, but it can be challenging to get contracts signed and everything for people. Yeah. So it's still just an idea and a concept, but we have conversations with 3 different musicians right now actively, seeing if we can agree on rates and get the dates down. And March has 5 Sundays. One of them's Easter, so we're closed then, but the other 4, we're hoping to have a concert on the Sunday afternoons. Again, something that people can come to during the day, and including St. Patrick's Day. We're hoping to have something for that as well.
Fun.
Yeah.
So it'll be like an hour?
45 minutes to an hour, depending on the person who's coming.
I can't wait.
It should be really great.
Yes. I just...
and if it doesn't come together for that, we still hope to get some music programs soon.
Okay. Let's see. You had talked about vastly different types of music, right?
Yes.
From a cappella to classical to
that's a good point. So whenever I'm doing anything program related, and if it's something that has the ability to really incorporate diversity, equity, and inclusion, which are very important topics to me, I don't want to just have all of the same thing. We have a very wonderful, wonderfully diverse community, and I want everyone to come and be able to experience things from different cultures. Maybe they're seeing something of their own culture, or maybe they're learning about another culture. And if we had just somebody doing one thing for 4 weeks in a row, that'd be nice, but it wouldn't be as beneficial and as meaningful to the community as having people from all different backgrounds. So that's my goal. And that's a lot of our goals. And sometimes it can happen very seamlessly, and other times it's harder to find the right people and the scheduling, but that's kind of the goal. So I'm hoping for our music we can find very different styles and get really an amazing lineup in place.
So fantastic. So there's another group that I'm unfamiliar with and kind of curious about.
Yes.
Something about wellness, a wellness group?
Yeah, so there's one of one of the most popular things on our survey was health and wellness lectures. And I was excited when I saw that responding really well, because I kind of got a sense that it would be popular. So we are working with a company, a Therapy Gardens company, that has a variety of programs on all areas of health and wellness. They even have a cooking series, so they might be someone we look into for some of the cooking programs too, if we like their programs. Wow. They're very well reviewed. They've come to area libraries and done a variety of workshops. We're going to have them in February for 2 workshops specifically. The first one's on how to get better sleep. If you have any trouble sleeping, it's going to be a workshop on sleeping skills. And then they're also coming to do a workshop on planning your 2024 garden. So how to get your garden ready. And you might think February, but some gardens have already started for next year.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
yeah, you want to kind of have the tools in place. And they structure that program so whenever you have them come, they'll give you tips that you can use right away. So they kind of know where you'll need to be in February and what you'll need to do to get ready to go, and they'll give you those tips. And again, free workshop.
Fantastic. I remember when I was gardening, I would start in January.
Yeah, exactly.
In the basement with the grow lights and the seeds and stuff. Very, very interesting. Let's see what else. So I'm curious about how you share information and how you get ideas with other libraries. Are there groups within these consortia that you regularly meet with?
Yes.
And share data, like this worked for us and it did not work for our library, but that type of thing.
Yeah, that's a great question.
What's going on with
that? So
there's
a lot. If you're responsible for programming, I think it's important that you do your due diligence before you bring someone in. And the way you can do that is to network. And there are a couple groups established within the Metro West library system where you can go to these meetings virtually or in person, depending on the format for that given month. And you can just talk to other people who are responsible for programming. And it's kind of like a show and tell where we say, hey, we did this, we loved it. Or we did this, avoid them like the plague. It's really good information. I have a file I keep on my computer with like, oh, we must bring this person in. Or if you see this name, no matter how awesome that postcard looks, avoid. And it's good to have that because you want your patrons to have a great experience when they have programs. Another simple thing I do that you actually could do too is you just follow a bunch of libraries on social media. I follow a ton. And I followed, even before I had this job, I followed it because I love to see what other libraries are doing. That's exactly how I heard about this therapy company who's coming in, is I saw another library post about it. And it's really easy to find information once you know they're doing the program. You can either email the library staff member who was running it and just say, hey, did you like that? Yeah, the pictures look great, but was it good? And they'll tell you honestly. I get emailed all the time, especially when I was the teen librarian. People would say like, I saw you had this. Did you like the person who did it? Or I saw you ran a program. Can I have the notes to it so I can do it myself? And
how helpful
we
is
love
that?
sharing. We get made fun of in like the world of marketing sometimes. Libraries do because we share everything for free because we're a collaborative network. We want people to have our stuff.
Right.
Whereas in a lot of places they would demand a fee or payment.
Right.
But we're just like, we want your library to be successful. We are just such a collaborative field, and it's one of the reasons I like it a lot is that it's just we want to build everybody up. I don't feel competition unless we have a competition, which we sometimes do compete with other libraries for things.
And those are fierce.
And those are,
March
it's like we
Madness
save it all
things.
For those.
Right.
Yeah.
And March Madness is still in
March,
the
and it's
in the
coming up
works,
again.
right?
March is around the corner, and we're gonna,
It
clean the floor with the other libraries, and then, the next month we'll love them again. But no, yeah, we actually even sooner we're going to be partnering with Cradles to Crayons for the Pajama Drive, and we're right now trying to look around at other libraries and say who do we challenge. And if you've ever worked with Cradles to Crayons, you know that every year they partner up with the Bruins and they have a contest to get the most pairs of children's pajamas donated so they can distribute them to people in need. And it's a wonderful cause, and if you make it competitive, it gets even more wonderful. So we want to raise a bunch of awareness for this drive. You'll start seeing it on social media pretty soon. We're going to be marketing that. I just got an email today from the coordinators saying that we don't have new information yet, but we're going to be, you're good to go. You're signed up. Burlington Public Library is an official participant. So be checking our Facebook and our website soon to know when you can bring those new pairs of pajamas in for kids.
Fun.
It's going to be great.
Exciting. So what else is going on in programming that I might not have mentioned here?
Well, we can rapid fire if you'd like. I brought some things in a list here that I thought would be super helpful.
Board gaming. I know you love board gaming.
Yes.
Let's go there first.
Okay. Well, I actually have a whole section for that. So
okay.
Burlington loves crafts. They love cooking and they love gaming. All sorts of gaming. Teens love the video game programming.
Okay.
Our youth services department does a lot to meet them where they're at with what they need for their games. There's everything from like RPGs for kids to the traditional like Mario Kart tournaments and other fun video game programming. For adults, we have, and actually for adults and families, there's a chess program. It just met last night. Over a dozen people showed up to just come and play chess. That's very popular.
Oh, cool.
There's a board game group that's exclusively for adults. So if you're looking to get out of the house and just play some games in a friendly environment, we have a monthly, the first Thursday of every month, we have this gaming night. It starts at 6:30. And we have a theme every month of the type of game. So for instance, this week it's word games, but then next month it might be, like trivia games or something.
So it's themed.
We have a theme, but I like to caution it. I almost didn't have a theme because if that theme isn't for you, say you're like, I like games, but I'm not good at word games. I always lose at Scrabble. I don't want to show up. You should still show up because we have a ton of games on hand to play. And typically there's 4 different board gaming groups playing at the same time.
Okay.
And I would say maybe one of them is usually the theme, maybe 2.
Okay.
So I encourage everyone to come out if you're 18 or older and come and play a variety of different games. We have everything from very simple, easy to learn games to ones that are more crunchy, harder to learn, but that might be your cup of tea. I'm a big board gamer personally. I love playing some of the big 6-hour-long board games, which it's, you don't have time to do that at this club, but you might find people you can network with and play elsewhere at another time too. And that's kind of the point of a lot of these programs, is to network and find people in the community who share something that you like, so you can kind of meet up elsewhere too.
When we chatted a few days ago, when you're talking about the attendance for that board game night, so there's been a couple of them, right?
Yes, we've had a couple. Yeah, we have between 10 and 20 people show up for them. And the cool thing is we have everyone from people who are like 18, 19 years old up to senior citizens, and we're all playing together. And it's so nice. It is such a great group of people that have started coming. And it's just, it makes me so happy because I wasn't sure, it's a brand new initiative that we're doing here. I didn't know how long it would take to get off the ground. And right off the bat, we just had such a great group of people. So I hope that people continue to join. And we always reserve the whole meeting space. We can keep setting up tables if people come in and we need them. And we have plenty of games. We got some donations from some leading game companies. T-Turtle and Pandasaurus Games sent us hundreds of dollars worth of games for free. I just sent them a letter. I just sent them a simple letter and I said, hey, we're starting this really exciting new initiative to get adults in the community into board gaming, or people who love board gaming. We just want to have a place for them to play. Do you want to send some games our way? And the response was wild. Like, it's this giant box that was bigger than this area here showed up one day, and I'm like, what's in here? And it was one company sent us 25 games.
Really?
It was wonderful.
Wow.
So that's good.
Congratulations on that effort.
It was exciting. And
I mean, that's your brainchild, the board gaming thing, right?
So many people are generous when you ask them to help support a community initiative. And that's the thing. And I will say it's helped these companies too, because at the last game night that we did, one of the games that was donated, we had 3 different people said they were going to buy it to give us gifts at the holidays. So it's like, it's
a win.
The intent wasn't the marketing side of it, but it worked for them. It was a marketing effort for the company. So it was really nice.
Something. Wow.
We have 2 other gaming programs I want to highlight too.
Yes.
If you are someone who does prefer to stay at home and have do programs from home, Justin, the reference librarian, runs a wonderful monthly trivia game. It's all via Zoom. It's all for bragging rights. And
I'm familiar with that one.
Oh, yes. Oh,
yeah,
great.
I love
Great.
that.
Yeah. So we definitely get involved with those. Those are really fun. And
that's the end of the month?
Yeah, it
last
varies.
Monday
So check
or something?
it's usually the 4th Monday or the last Monday, depending on the month. It could be both of those things.
He's fun. He's a lot of fun.
He puts so much work into them. So definitely support those nights. Yeah, they're
always
great.
learn stuff. Always learn stuff.
And then another new initiative that we have is called Book Bingo and Browse. And I'm very excited about this one specifically. So Book Bingo and Browse is geared at residents in Burlington who live in elder care facilities. It's open to any adult who wants to come, but it is geared at the facilities who can get their shuttle buses that these different residences have, and shuttle people to the library who may not have a means of transportation or the ability to drive themselves to the library. And what we do is we let them browse the library and pick out things, and then we also play a game of Book Bingo, which is not calling numbers off of balls. It is featuring different book titles, and there's still a dabber involved, and you mark off trying to make patterns, and in the process you learn about a bunch of books that we have on a table that you can check out right afterwards. So it's a lot of fun, and we've only done that once, and we started it in October, and we're doing it again in December, and we're going to do it monthly unless it hits a holiday. It hit the Thanksgiving closure this last time, but we're excited about that.
Does the assistant director still do a program whereby if there's seniors that are homebound, they can request books?
Yeah, Kara, the assistant director, she is incredible. She has really put together an amazing outreach initiative. And she partners with Sandra, the head of circulation.
Okay.
Reach out to either of them. If you have somebody in your life who needs books delivered, if you need books delivered, they do such a great job. Not only do they get the books delivered to you, but they'll help you with reader's advisory. They'll work with a reference team to find books you like. We're not just dumping off, okay, we have some discarded books, here you go. No, if you're like, I really want to read that lessons in chemistry book, I really want to read what the book club's reading, we will get you those. And if you like it, you can say, I love that. And we're like, we'll find books that are like that. We'll send those to you. It's a very thoughtful service. It's not just here's a bag and then see you in a month. No, it's very, very well put together.
It's really heartwarming to know that, you know,
and building on the heartwarming nature of it,
left alone at home. There is access.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So that's a really nice thing.
And I know, like, and if people, we had a great response a couple weeks ago. We put out a call for volunteers to help deliver the books, and we got more drivers than we even needed. It was amazing. It was an outpouring of support for this program to the point Kara was like, now we need people to get books again because, like, you know, it's good. It's better to have more drivers than people needing them. So the community's been very, very receptive to that program.
That's wonderful news.
Yes.
Really wonderful news. Last Thursday book club. So that's
so our book clubs, that was another little cluster I have here. We have 3 book clubs at the library. They're really, really different clubs intentionally, but you can be a part of all of them if you'd like. So we have the Fables and Fantasy book club. That's the 3rd Wednesdays at 7 o'clock. Daphne, the reference librarian, runs that. She has a real passion for fantasy and the fable style books that she chooses. And she works with a group to select these titles. And she has such a vibrant following. Her club is so much fun. So I highly encourage people who are, even if you're just, say you might be like, I'm not really a fantasy person, the books she chooses are very great discussion starters. So you can read the book, and even if you don't like it, I tell that about any of the book clubs, even if you don't like the book, still go to the book club, because sometimes the most entertaining book club sessions are when everybody's just digging into it. So she does such a great job with that.
Okay.
Kara launched a new book club just recently, a couple months ago, and it's for people who love mysteries. Right. It's called Mysterious Mornings, and it's for people again. It's a great title.
Perfect title.
So for people who might not want to drive at night, there's an alternative. So it's Fridays. It's the 3rd Friday of the month at 10:30 in the morning. And she selects different mysteries, and Kara is so thoughtful, and she's such a voracious reader herself that she's taking her book club members on a journey through mysteries. So one month you might have this gritty thriller, and then the next month it's a more literary mystery. Like she went from a really poppy book called The Maid to now she's going to a very thoughtful Jodi Picoult title about Amish country and a murder in Amish country. So she really wants people to have this experience that mysteries aren't just one thing. There's a mystery at the heart of each of these books, but there are mysteries within so many different genres of book. And she's just doing it so well. She's launching it well. She has a great group already who is meeting to talk about them. And the last one is the long-running Last Thursday book club, which we're calling Night Owls now. Night Owls I thought was more fun to market. Night Owls has been going for a very long time. We just had as you saw on the screen, the lessons in chemistry one the other day. We had a full table of people talking about that. I facilitate that one, and I like to bring some fun to them too. And so we had mocktails themed after the book.
So fun.
And we just had such a wonderful discussion. It was great, and it's very respectful. And the one thing that I would tell anyone, some people might have some like social anxiety and like, oh, well, if the group has been going that long, I don't really want to start. No, please do. All 3 of these book clubs get so excited when a new member joins. We are welcoming. You can come, and if you're more like, I want to be on the background and just sit and listen, we're not going to just look at you and be like, talk about the book now. I need to know your opinion. No, we're very respectful. We'll say, oh, do you want to share your thoughts? And if you say, no, I'm good, we'll be fine with that. Or if you want to come and just really contribute to the discussion, you're welcome to do that too. But every program we do at the library, whether it's a book club, a game night, what have you, we want new people to join because the program will only be successful if we keep building, finding people in the community who want to do them.
Right. I've done something a bit unorthodox, but I think it was toward the end of lockdown or whatnot, where I would audit some of the Thursday book group Zoom meetings. Hadn't quite finished the book, but I really wanted to interact and listen and learn. So they would allow me to audit. It was fantastic. I don't know if that's a no-no, but anyway.
Oh, no.
Just to tell you, I was just
no, sometimes, and you know what's funny? Because someone who came to one of the last meetings of the last Thursday book club, didn't like the book and they stopped it halfway through, but they still came and they had a wonderful time. They talked about why they didn't like it, why they put it up, and that's okay. I mean, there's a lot, a lot of things on your plate and sometimes you don't have time to finish it.
Exactly.
And if it's not good, I'm the first one to say, if you're not enjoying the book, unless you're assigned it for class, jump out of it to the next one, because there's so many amazing books you don't have time to waste on the ones that aren't doing it for you.
Yeah. So good to know about Kara's mystery group, that it's all different kinds of mysteries.
Yeah, she goes all over the place. So if you read one month, you're not going to have the same the next month.
That's exciting. I like that idea. So the reference department,
yes.
I have a note here. Is this right? A paint night?
Yeah, so the reference department is part of the group of people that helps run adult programs. They are so skilled at a variety of different things, including Shelley's paint night. Shelley's now, we actually are, it's not that we're getting rid of paint night, but that's actually evolving into this monthly maker meetup we talked about earlier. So Shelley will continue to do different types of crafting programs, and she's run some very popular paint nights, including she's going to do the pour paint one we talked about as well.
Okay.
So yeah, the reference team is amazing. It's not just, some people hear reference, and that's one of those words that's, confusing to people who are new to libraries. They think reference is, oh, you'll help me find a thesaurus, you'll help me look at an encyclopedia, maybe you can help me find information about my home, from years ago. They can do all of that, but they can do so much more, and they do so much more in Burlington, and it's such an incredible group there. And they're all so different, so if you have like a type of program you want to go to, they're probably running it. They do everything from the fun paint nights to tonight there's a how to choose stocks with some of our resources program that they're facilitating. There's how to use Libby, the digital online loan tool that is just so valuable. And they just run these workshops on a recurring basis, and they just get such great turnouts, or just even if it's a smaller group, those people who have learned something new can like really share that within the community. And they just do such a wonderful job. We are very lucky to have teams, because I've worked in libraries where the reference team were great, but they were very, very narrow in their responsibilities. But in Burlington, they just are such a great group of people, and in all the departments, but the reference team really does so much for adult programming.
Fantastic. So they're even doing citizenship classes.
Yes, so they
ELL language.
Yes,
English
yes,
language
yes.
learning.
So yeah, there's English conversation. There's a citizenship class. They facilitate, and they find professionals in the area, in this region, who do those things. So sometimes the staff knows the topic and they lead the workshop. But if any time we have programming meetings, if someone feels like, okay, you know what, I don't think I've got this. I don't want the patrons who are taking time out of their day to not get the best information on this topic. We look for it and we find it and we bring it in if it's within our budget. And sometimes people donate their work for free. Other times we pay a stipend. It depends. A lot of it's sponsored by the Friends, so we're very thankful for that. And we are able to offer so many more interesting and meaningful programs when we know the information presented is correct. And that's kind of the goal with those programs.
Okay. So outreach is also a part of what you do. What were your experiences at Celebrate Burlington?
Sure.
The beer garden?
Yeah, so I look forward to setting up little booths around town when there's events, when it works with my schedule, like Celebrate Burlington did, the beer garden. I was there at 2 of the 4 beer gardens. And we just basically talk to the community, get to know them. It's interesting. Whenever I've done any community outreach for any library I've worked at, I interact with people I've never seen before. And when I start having conversations, it's incredible. I'm so biased because I have worked in libraries since I was literally 15 years old, so I understand a lot of what libraries have to offer. Yeah. I've had to talk to people who had no idea that you could come to the library and check out a movie. Like, that seemed kind of straightforward to me, but no, some people don't know that. They think it's just books and quiet. There are people who I get to tell that you can check out a wireless hotspot, and they're like, what? Or, what's a hotspot? And you get to have these great conversations about these tools we have. We can check out everything from the board games, the tabletop board games. That's one of the fun things about our gaming group, is if you like a game, you can take it home with you and play it and then bring it back when you're done. And it's when people in the community learn about all the resources that a library does have to offer. And we're not unique in those services. Those services are offered by tons of libraries. Right. But again, it comes back to the marketing. And that's why these outreach events are so important. If I can start having these conversations, then they'll tell their friends and their neighbors, and their kids will tell their friends and their neighbors. And they'll know that, oh, I can go to the library and check out a puppet that looks like a cat. I can go to the library and check out something that will help me do like a movie night with a projector. And there's just so many great things in our Library of Things collection.
Right, and even now the weighted lap blankets for
Yes.
sensory.
Yeah, there's different things that
Children
the
with
youth
sensory
services can speak to
issues.
those tools the best. They have they're doing a lot of great initiatives with like sensory programming. We have light therapy lamps, which are very popular, especially when the clocks change and the
Yeah.
lighting is just, feels strange to be dark at 4 o'clock.
Right.
We have those light therapy lamps. We have a lot of different tools. I encourage people to browse. I could not even name a third of them off the top of my head, just because we have just so many amazing things you can take home. Video game systems.
What is some of like the real oddball one that no one would ever believe that was in the Library of Things?
That's a good question. I actually
What
don't
could
know
that
the
be?
answer to that, because the cool thing is I've always had this philosophy.
Almost anything, right?
Like, if you can stick a barcode on it, it's great. No, we want to save people money. Sometimes it's a try before you buy situation, like with the games. I don't know if my family's going to love this game, and try it before you do, because everything is expensive, but especially now, everybody needs to really watch their budgets with this economy, and the library is so important in times like that.
Interesting. So, what are some of your programming plans for the future?
Sure. So, programming on the horizon. So, in January, we're going to have a very special theatrical performance from an impersonator of Princess Diana. She's going to come in and do a 90-minute stage show that is so popular. And normally libraries or facilities that hire this person charge a lot of money for the tickets, like $25 a ticket. We're doing it for free. And thanks to a generous donation from the Friends. So we're very excited about that.
Fantastic.
February, I mentioned our workshops on gardening and sleeping, and March, the music we have. So those are kind of our big focuses for the springtime. And we're really hoping people get involved in all of those and continue to give us their feedback. One question I get all the time is, I have a program idea, what do I do with it? And I love meeting people at the library. But what I tell people who have a programming idea, send me an email. Give me all the information you have. Tell me what you think the concept is. If it's you running it, tell me what you would do. Show me if you have a presentation you've done elsewhere, send me that presentation. Send me everything you have, including your rate. And then we have a programming meeting, and we just say, let's look at all of these. Right now, we have a programming meeting in January, and I think I already have about 26 proposals from people. People send me emails all the time, and it's wonderful. I love to see them. I always tell people, you might have a great program that we never ask you to do. It's not personal. It's just we get so many program ideas, but that doesn't mean I don't want them. I want them because sometimes we might be like, we really need a musician. And then I can look back, I'm like, ooh, we have somebody who will come and they wanted to donate their time because they really love the library, and it's like, ooh, let's get them now. So we might reach out to people a year later after they give us a proposal, and we really, really want to see those come in.
That's exciting. Daniel, we are fresh out of time.
Oh, well, thank you.
And it's been such a pleasure.
Yes.
And it's just, I've learned an awful lot.
Okay, great. I hope everyone did too.
Yeah, I can't wait to see more of what's happening.
Yes.
Again, it's a pleasure, and I'm hoping for the continued wonderful synergy between the library and the community and the Friends, and it's pretty wonderful what you're doing there.
No,
and kudos to you for all
thank
of
you
your
for letting me come on here. This is a part of marketing,
expertise.
getting the word out, so this helps do that. So
Yeah.
thank you so much.
great expertise, and we appreciate that.
Thank you.
So, all right. So, if you're inclined to donate or volunteer for the library, stay tuned for that information on your screen. Also, if you're interested in volunteering, the Friends of the Burlington Public Library, who are the nonprofit fundraisers for the library, is looking for volunteers from teenagers on up to help with their marketing and communications efforts. So that encompasses social media, photography, videography, some writing in the newsletter, graphics, and learning about fundraising. So you are valuable to the Friends. So even if you have no experience or you would like some experience, you will be gladly mentored. Or if you already have experience or expertise, they would be thrilled to have you aboard. You may contact me at dive@bcattv.org. That's DIVE at BCATTV.org. If you care to donate books to the Friends of the Library, you may donate a bag of books per day. Just ask at the circulation desk to help orient you. The next book donation day for larger quantities is April 7th, and on that weekend to follow, April 12th, is the book sale and the raffle. Again, I want to thank Daniel Barbour for spending time with us today, and thank you at home for tuning in. I hope you learned as much as I did, and that it offered you a new understanding about how much expertise it takes to market a library in today's world, and and how engaged the staff is at our local library. I'm grateful, and I know you are as well, and how much the library enhances our lives, not just with books, but with learning and entertainment. We greatly appreciate all the dedication and diligence that goes into creating a library of such vibrancy for us all. Congratulations to Daniel Barbour and the library, wishing you continued success and our very best for an exciting and jam-packed year ahead. So until next time, from all of us at BCAT and the Discourse Dive, we're wishing you a very happy holiday season. Cheers from all of us.